Hello everyone, I'm Brittany with SLPMaterialGirl.com, and this video is to introduce you to my articulation workbook, S and Z, or S and Z. Let's begin. Okay, so when you first purchase the workbook, you will get a digital download of the S compressed, zip file. And you would just hit extract all so that you can save the documents, change the documents, do whatever you want with the documents. So you'll first want to extract them before you click in there and start changing them or saving them. I want to introduce you to the products included in the workbook. So let's first look at articulation, sorry. I actually originally designed this during the pandemic when I was doing teletherapy for the schools. And it was nice because you could pull up a free dice app, roll the die, and move the pieces all the way around the board, just like you would with a typical game of Sorry. But now that we are, a lot of the schools have switched to in person. I mean, we never know what the future holds, obviously, knock on wood. But you can still use this in the schools. Most children now have access to a Chromebook, and a lot of school SLPs have access to a laptop, where you can either do this in the, the downloaded version of Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can convert it over to Google, Google Slides, and you can do it on the kids' Chromebook. But it's just nice. Some of these boards have words, some of them have pictures, and you play it like a typical game of Sorry. Use your, your knowledge on how many times you want them to say the word. Like, do you want them to say star, 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 storm, 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 stove, 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 or do you just want them to go around the board, star, storm, stove, stop, depending on what they roll. But that's all up to your clinical expertise. But there's a couple boards here, the ST, the SN, the SP, there's some Z ones at the end. So that's all there really is to that. Oh, I put this note, only move objects with a cursor. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like if I'm trying to, I don't know why you'd move this home book, but if you're trying to move it and it's not a, four-pointed cursor, you can't move it. You have to wait until the object, I could move that home thing. You see right now I can move it. And then Control Z is your best friend. You hit Control Z, it's going to undo anything you accidentally did. So let's say I'm moving the child's pieces around the board. I go to grab it again. Oh, and I grabbed the board. I missed it. And now my board's all messed up. So you just Control Z. No problem. Control Z is your best friend with any of these online materials. Just a simple way to undo mistakes. You can also hit this arrow right here. All right. Let's keep moving. The purchase also includes articulation checkers. I tried to make it cute, cats versus dogs. Kids usually like to... They're one side or the other, generally. But, you'll get the kid, oh, I love cats and dogs. And I included this cute little meme, your defeat is certain. Ha, we'll see, cat. It's just a standard checkers board. Like I said, you can play this online or on the computer. You can whip out your laptop and play it on the computer. Or... down here I have some printed pieces you could use, like the boards, you can print them. If you printed them, I would suggest laminating them to increase their longevity. And then also I have like the pieces you could print, but this might be a pain to cut out and do. So if you were going to print it, you might just want to use real chess pieces or checker pieces, excuse me, to play. Oh, and then in the spirit of good sportsmanship, I've got good game with the cat and the dog. So even though we were pitted against each other at the beginning, definitely still want to encourage that good game mentality, not rubbing in another child's face or your teacher's face that the dogs beat the cat or whatever. All right, so that is articulation checkers. Let's get into Chinese checkers. Same deal. This game I would only play probably with your older students. I mean, it's not that complicated, but you know, I feel like there's a lot going on. Like I want to move J to 27. I want to move I to 84. I feel like that might be better with older kids. But down, oh, by the way, let's Control Z. Let's undo that action. There's also a version down here past this good game thing where the child might just be manipulating the piece themselves and you don't have to call out the numbers. You could just be concentrating on saying seek, seek, seek. Okay, I'm going to move this here. C, C, C. Okay, I'll move that there. So, I mean, it's not so I to 17, you know, that gets a little confusing. I wanted to give one more quick piece of advice on any of these games. I would always right-click it, duplicate slide, and then I would put the student's name. So let's say Ashley. That way you can save where you are, and then, you know, just in case you don't finish this game all in one session, which you might not, it's a pretty long game, you can, you know, save that. And also you still have this master copy that you can copy at any time. Well, you know, because your pieces are going to get all over the board and you're not going to want to manually have to put all these pieces back. You could even, let's say you wanted to take Ashley's, you could cut this whole slide, open up a, you know, totally a new PowerPoint show, blank presentation, and then right click this and, you know, keep your source formatting. And there's Ashley's slide, and we could save this as Ashley's, you know, speech therapy, or her initials for, you know, HIPAA reasons. But there's no reason why you want to muck up your master copy when you could just copy that slide. And when you paste it, always keep source formatting. If you do this one right here, use destination theme, things change color. Things that I've formatted to be behind things will be moved. It's just, it gets a little messy. I also put this little color code key right here in case you're playing with multiple students. And hey, if you're playing with multiple students, this child might be working on these S cards. Another child might be working on R sound or whatever. If you have flashcards at your disposal, you can have, you know, or even if someone's working on language goals, who knows? They're combining sentences, working on their conjunctions. This game's you can use it in any way, you know, to the limit of your own creativity. I think an important thing to, once again, I'm just going to say this one more time, Control Z is your best friend. So if I go to move this piece and I move the whole board and all these pieces are scattered everywhere, just hit Control Z and it just backs you up a step. Online games can be, I learned this during the pandemic, online games can be frustrating if you make a mistake and, you know, can't undo it quickly and seamlessly and stress-free. So I just want to put that out there again. And like I said, you're using this in the schools now, in person. You know, you can use it on a laptop or whatever. Children love, in my experience at least, children love online games. Even though it is nice to physically touch game pieces. I mean, that's more meaningful for me personally, but I'm a little old school. The next product to introduce you to is the medial Z and S sound practice questions. Where do you keep ice cream so it does not melt? In the freezer. And then there's a little visual at the very end. I really like this visual. It's just to help them pull their S sound out. It's kind of like a warm-up activity. Castle. You can hear the faucet running. Castle or messy. We've got faces. So I like this visual. There's a couple of those just to practice with your kid, get their mouth warmed up for whatever activity you're going to do, whether you're going to be doing a lot of trials during articulation checkers or whatever. We also have, let me erase this so I don't save it. There we go. I also included some reward games. You could use this with your flashcards that you may have. You know, they have to say a sound before they can be the mean X or the mean X or the sweet little O. They will have to say their sounds. Or you can just use this at the end as a reward. Like, do you want to play tic-tac-toe as your reward for a good session? You know, the last 2 minutes of your session. Do you want to play Connect 4? The last 2 minutes of your session. Look at me, I better Alt or Control Z to undo what I've just did because I'm on my master copy. You could, once again, you could copy or you can duplicate slide. That way I don't mess up my master, and then at the end of the session I just delete that slide out. A couple original games created by the author myself. This one I like to call Banana Bonanza. The monkey and the ape race around the board, and every time they land on the bananas, it goes in their respective baskets, and whoever has the most bananas at the end wins the game. And that's a great game for, you know, repetition of practice sounds, practice words. Got a couple others: Race to the Bath, Picnic Adventure, and then this is kind of I knocked off my own Banana Bonanza and made Worms in the Basket game. I don't have a fun name for this one. And, you know, if you want to add more, like excuse me, you see how I have take 2 worms from another bird? You could insert text box and personalize this. You could, you know, move ahead 3 spaces. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can personalize these games. I'm gonna make that print a little smaller. So, you know, have fun with it. Do whatever you want. Personalize these to you. We have a couple other things included in your purchase. We have a book companion to Apple Trouble. If you've never read Apple Trouble, I highly suggest it. It's about a sweet little hedgehog going through the forest, and she gets all these things stuck on her back, and then her animal friends, I believe, have to help her, you know, clear her back off. She gets an apple stuck in her spines, and she gets a leaf and a wrapper, and she's just having a rough time of it. Really cute book, and the nice thing is the vocabulary is advanced enough in it that, I mean, I think I've read it with let me think what grade she was in. Might even have been 4th grade, and she was still interested. I had like a 4th grade and a 3rd grader, and she was intrigued by the cute little story. I was intrigued by it. But I've got practice S in all positions with lines from the book Apple Trouble. And then at the end I've got a coloring activity. These are some of the S words I practiced today, so when they go home they can tell mom and dad, you know, I practiced these are some of the words I practiced, and they can color the sweet little hedgehog. And then as just a bonus piece, let's say you also have a student whose their goal is something to do with using context clues to determine the definitions of vocabulary words. These are some of the words I learned today: scurrying, suddenly, hedge, bobbing, murky, crumpled. So see, these vocabulary words, I think it's appropriate, you know, for not just 1st and 2nd graders. You can go up, but use your clinical expertise. I designed it with mine in mind, but we are all, you know, we're all different, and we all have different ideologies that we follow and different evidence-based practice methods that we use. I mean, hopefully there's a common ground with evidence-based practice, but anyway, I digress. I ramble. All right, so one more worksheet included with your purchase. I've got this cute I Spy game, or it can be used for storytelling. You know, I spy something green. Oh, you know, did you spy the dragon that's setting fires? No. Did you spy the leaves on the tree? No. How about the snake? Yes, I did spy the snake. So answering and asking those questions, you'll get a lot of great S sounds. Or, you know, what's happening in this scene? Well, the dragon set the fire, and the princess had escaped from the castle, and the prince is here to save her. He has his shield and his sword. That's pretty advanced. You might want to break that down. Like, tell me what's happening, and we'll, you know, break it down into an organizer so they don't get tongue-tied like I just did. But it is a nice little I Spy game. We also have some Mad Libs. There's a couple here. Well, actually, there's precisely 2 on this one. But the point of this is, you know, cover up this top part, have them pick 1 through 10 and highlight what they want to pick, and then you read this silly story, or you have them read this silly story out loud to you to practice their S's at the sentence level. So first at the word and then at the sentence level. I have these little flashcards. You can, or they're not flashcards, they're strips. Create sentences using these words, so just some pre-made ones. And then the bucket game. The bucket game's fun. You print these out. There's a couple of them. You roll the die, and then you just fill the bucket in. So sniff, sniff, sniff. And we see who can, you know, maybe you pick blue and I pick red, and we see who can fill up their bucket, who has the most buckets that are filled by the end. Because if you roll a 1 and these buckets are already filled, well, that was a loss of a turn. Then I roll a 3 and, you know, I filled in snore, and then I roll another, or you roll another one, oh boy, and then I roll a 3 and I get snack, snack, snack. So we just see who accomplished, you know, filling in the most buckets by the end. Is that it? I think that is. All right. So if you're still with me, I appreciate it. This articulation workbooks and Zzz will be available on slpmaterialgirl.com. Hope to see you there. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.